Heyo everyone, it's Samesies. So today I was going to do a video about the Squish, mostly. So the Squish is coming. If you don't know what the Squish is, it's a thing that happens once a year, every year on my server, Warmane, that it halves all the gold. So in your inventory, in your bank, your guild bank, if you have gold in your mail, when you pick it up, it'll get halved. So you can't like send it to yourself and then pick it up afterwards, that kind of thing. They've thought of that. But today I'm going to show you a couple of things that you can do to prepare yourself for the Squish. This includes investing your gold or trying to hide it in items, that kind of a thing, and things that don't depreciate over time or things that will bounce back relatively quickly once the Squish does happen. So, consumables are usually pretty safe. Saronite, leather, herbs, things that people need. Basically, just invest it in items because the item prices bounce back relatively quickly if you're willing to hold out. Within a month or two, they're at least 80%, if not 90% of where they were. So, anyway, let's get into it a little bit. Start off with, I'm just going to show you a couple of useful things that aren't exactly related to Gold Squish, but they're related to WoW and trading in general. So it's OBS Studio. So it's just a screen recording app that's free. It's open source program, so anyone can use it. It's relatively lightweight. It's useful for trades. As you see here, I'm going to make kind of an example, and this is a trade for the last of the flasks that I have in my inventory. But yeah, kind of interesting. Not a lot of people make trades for this big. It's 100,000 gold, so it's not an insignificant amount. I didn't really exactly ask him for permission to record and or put this on YouTube, so I just figured I'd blur.
Next,
I was going to cover kind of how I research things. So there's the obvious farms like, leather, farm for Saronite, primos, you could farm for Lich Bloom or whatever. But a lot of people don't remember, I guess, or realize or think about the fact that a lot of the low-level herbs and low-level materials, not just herbs, any profession materials, are usually worth quite a bit of gold. So here I'm going to go through, just how I research things. You can pull up the profession lists, the power leveling lists on websites, and you can see at least these lists are what most people will go to. If you think about it, they're Googling or looking up a power leveling list for a profession. So you go and look up the same list that they're looking at with the intention that, hey, I see fellweed, terracone, golden samsam, blindweed, all those things there. There's quite a few needed to level. This is an example of alchemy here. But there's quite a few things required, at least on this, initial list that I just looked up. And yeah, you can kind of go find those things and jack the prices up, or go farm those things and work those into your farm. There's a couple different examples there, but just to get your mind whirling, you don't have to always farm Lich Bloom. You don't always have to farm endgame enchanting materials and really expensive stuff. You can farm Burning Crusade stuff, or classic items, because people still need those. So when you're looking for items, the only thing that you really have to be careful for when you're Googling them is make sure that you look at either Burning Crusade or Wrath of the Lich King or classic websites, because there's obviously many versions of WoW. So make sure that you're looking, just add, Wrath of the Lich King, WTLK, to the end of your Google, and it will usually steer you in the right direction. Because, you don't want to look up and spend a bunch of time researching stuff and find out you've been on the Cataclysm website for 15 minutes, which I've never had that happen to me, not even once, So yeah, don't do that. Waste a bunch of your time. So I'm going to pull up here this list of just more vanilla items, and you see here, I've mentioned it a bunch before. Flask of Mojo, you need 24 to level up jewel crafting and alchemy. So some other relatively easy farms and things that you can try to like corner. You can go to this example I'm going to show you real quick on screen is from AQ20 and AQ40, these scarabs and the idols. People pay, decent amount of gold for these, like 25 gold a piece, and for the scarabs and for the idols, sometimes people will pay like 800 to 1,000 gold a pop. So don't sell them for like, 3 gold each. Sell them for a good amount. Do some research and look at what other people are selling theirs for, and just undercut them by a little bit. But like, depending on how many are out there in the market, I may even buy all the other ones and relist them at like 800 to 1,000 gold a pop just to make some gold, because they'll sell eventually. It might take you a little bit if somebody else comes along and has the same idea and undercuts you and you start a little scarab war or whatever. But it's just one more thing to add. You can do that with the idols, the scarabs. You can do that with things from Strathhome, Blackrock Depths, Blackrock Spire, any of the level 48 to 60 instances. I pick up everything. If you're trying to make gold, loot everything, because there's epics that drop there. There's valuables, enchanting ingredients, star ruby, I don't know, just all kinds of stuff. I couldn't even list it all. Like, there's blues that you can disenchant into other things. There's a chance for BOE world epics like Skullflame Shield that are worth like 3k gold easy. Lots of cool stuff. Just branch out. Don't always do the same thing. But here, just real quickly, I was going to show, I usually don't show much raiding or me killing stuff much, especially on samesies, but I was going to do a quick little VOA and blast this guy. But and VOA is also a good way to make gold, because not that you should do this all the time, and not that I encourage people to do this, but if you win a PvP item and somebody else really wants it, and they offer you 5,000 gold for it in a whisper, and you're like, I don't really PvP much. You can, so I go to VOA and I try to get like full boss runs, just because I like scrolls for the transmogs, because every boss has a % chance to drop a scroll. Depending on the mood I'm in, I'll need him, that bad boy, and try and sell it. But, maybe don't do that in a guild run. Definitely do that in like a pug run, and don't brag about it, and don't say anything about it in chat. That's a keep it to yourself thing, usually, if you do something like that, because I don't know, you're gonna piss somebody off, But anyway, on to the next thing. We're gonna I'm just gonna do a quick heroic POS on this guy, because A, it's fun, and B, it's good gold. If you have multiple characters and you do daily heroic on them every single day, that's pretty good gold. Like, you get quite a few items. You get, especially if you have an enchanter in your group, or if you are an enchanter and you DE the item, you can get 400 or 500 gold per heroic sometimes. So especially if you win any of the frozen orb or any of the epics that get DE'd, that's good money. And then depending on how many characters you have, and it's fun, you're playing the game and making decent gold. So if you can do a 10 to 15 minute heroic and make 500 gold, do that 4 times, that's 2,000 gold for just playing the game. It's not bad, But it's pretty ungrindy as far as the game goes, because you're actually playing the game. You're just smashing stuff and picking up stuff, as opposed to like farming Lich Bloom or farming herbs or what have you. So next, I was going to show a quick little additional way to make some gold. So on our server, on Warmane, you can transfer from Alliance to Horde and back and forth. It does cost you points, which are something that you get every day. You have to go on the website and collect your points through the website. So if you're unfamiliar with that, you have to have 1,000 achievement points, and the rest is all pretty easy. It's just a couple of buttons. But anyway, let's assume that you've got your points. Okay, you need 30 points to transfer a character over. You can make a decent amount of gold transferring pets, like I am here. Gold on Horde usually goes a lot further on Alliance. And what I mean by that is, like, Lich Bloom, as an example, may cost 45 gold on Horde side, and it's probably like 35 to 40 gold on Alliance side right now. So yeah, pretty straightforward to transfer. You basically just go to the website and log in, and then you go to the services tab. So at the top you go, there's my account, donate, store, trade, services. You go to services, you select the realm you're on. So in my case, it's Ice Crown. I select the character. I'm going to use points because I'm using the points. That's what it's under. And then faction change. And then, yeah, you've got to be logged off. So you might have to wait a minute and then, read the disclaimer here. You can transfer back and forth, but it costs you points every time you do it, 30 points. So yeah, I'm just going to transfer this guy, make him an orc, because I think the orcs, like, their Hearthstone gets updated to org, which is nice because my bank's an org. That's basically it. So, like, when you log in, your guy will spawn an org, and, now he's a horde. Or if you were an alliance, do the reverse. And then here, I was going to show, he's one of my old guild buddies from, like, 2008, when I played on Burning Crusade, like, retail. But this was a progression guild that I was in. My character's name is GG Fyra. But yeah, number 1 for a little while. I think I finished number 2 on DPS. Not that it matters. No big deal. But this was one of our, not our first Illidan kill, but one of, I don't know, the first 20 or so. And a Warglaive drop. That was our first Warglaive for the guild. But this guy recorded the footage, and I found it randomly on YouTube, just a random WoW YouTube kind of journey, and saw this bad boy. I was like, oh my god, Calamitous Intent, no way. But yeah, kind of cool. That's my old guild. Like I said, I've been playing WoW for a minute, so I just thought it would be cool to show some of this archival footage from back in the day. So yeah, I hope I gave you a couple of ideas today. Prepare for that gold squish. It's definitely coming. Do it before it gets announced, because then everyone's going to be doing it. Buy Saronite now, buy herbs now, start farming and start stashing it away like a little squirrel, because as soon as it gets announced, the mad dash is on. But yeah, this is my advice to you. I hope you have a good day. I appreciate you joining me, and thanks for watching.